sometimes you are the first to do something,
Exactly.
and you're setting that example for other people. And my quote is, rejection is God's way of saying wrong direction. So I feel like if there's any time that you feel like something is not going your way, then just figure out what direction that God wants you to go to, because it could be the same thing, but it's just he doesn't want you to take that route. Sometimes we take the scenic route to where we want to go, and God's just like, look, I got this laid out for you right here.
Yes, we are back again for another episode. As y'all can see, look, we only put stars up here. That's it.
Stars.
We only getting stars up here. So if you're not a star, you may not make the cut, you know. But listen, it's another episode of Conversation with Creators. I am GS Remarkable, and introduce yourself to the people. Let them know who you are.
Well, my name is Ebony, the Fashionably Eb, one of the biggest braiders in Jacksonville right now. You know, just
Dope.
kind of
Biggest.
to my own horn.
Dope, dope. You have to. You have to. We have to applaud for ourselves louder than anybody else will. You know,
Yeah,
we
absolutely.
have to. And
She speaks visuals, but you can call me Kiana. What's
hey,
up, y'all?
and if y'all don't know us by now, y'all need to go back, watch first, second, third, for whatever number we on. Y'all need to go back and check them out, because y'all need to know who we are. But today we have a very, very interesting topic. See, these are one of those topics that aren't limited to just creators. It's like this overarching lifestyle building type of conversation. And you know, I always introduce the topic. I always introduce it. Give it to them.
Today we are talking about, my voice. Today we're talking about change.
Change.
Changes in creation, our fields, what it looks like to us as a creator, what it looks like to us in life. How do you feel about change, Ebony?
Change, I've always been a big risk taker. I've always been someone who wasn't afraid to start over, to try
That's
something
good.
new.
That is true.
So change for me is it's just an everyday type of thing. I'm easygoing when it comes to change. I'm quick to adapt to different lifestyles, to changes in, you know, jobs, changes in, you know, hair. I'm locking up right now, so I'm a big changer.
Yeah, you are definitely a big changer. So, like, tell us a little bit about, like, the changes
Yeah.
that you've been through. Specifically, like, your creative journey.
My creative journey, I've always had a passion for fashion, for creativity. So in my beginning stages after high school, I actually went straight into college. I went to the Art Institute and I studied fashion marketing management. Right after that, I started my online boutique. Had that for 7 years. Went on to have a brick and mortar store.
Nice.
Where I sold women clothing. Yes.
Leveling up on them. I like
Yeah.
that.
Absolutely. I did fashion shows. What else did I do? I made clothes. I did alterations, and then I had a life-changing event that happened in my life.
Yeah.
I had a daughter, and actually, when I opened my backing up to fashion, when I had my brick and mortar location, I just opened it up. I've been open for like a month, and I found out I was pregnant with my daughter. So, in that moment, I was just like, okay, what do I do? I'm a first-time parent. I was scared. I was nervous. I didn't want to go back to working a 9 to 5, you know, not knocking anybody who does that, but I just felt like entrepreneurship was for me. I didn't want to report to anybody. So I was sitting there, I can't lie, I started falling into a depression, and I sat in the dark. I sat in the quietness for a few days, weeks, and I heard a voice yell to me, "Do hair." And when I tell y'all, I sat up so quick. I was so.
Now, was doing hair part of? Was you like doing it on and off?
I wasn't
between
doing hair at all.
What?
No, I wasn't doing hair at all. I was strictly doing
But you had the license, though.
I had the license. Yes,
Okay.
I had the license out of high school, and I didn't do anything with it. My mother, she's been doing hair for over 30 years, so it's always been in the family, and it just wasn't something that interests me. You know, I'm like, not interested in that. So never in a million years did I think I would get into doing hair. But I was sitting there and I heard a voice that I now know was God told me to do hair. And I sat up, I started researching, okay, let me get my license straight, and the rest is history from there.
That's dope.
Yeah.
I heard a few things in that. I heard the fact that you identified yourself as a risk taker, right? I think that's highly important when it comes to embracing change. Because when you're a risk taker, it's like, you know change is coming.
Right.
Because you're putting yourself out there in a way that you're so vulnerable that you don't know what direction you might get.
Right.
So you're willing to move however things come. And then I also heard you say that when you were transitioning into the brick and mortar and you had your daughter, that was a time period. What was before you went into depression? What were you kind of thinking about? What was that thought process like?
Before I start, I was trying to figure out.
Were you at the top of your game with the boutique?
I was. Now the boutique that I just opened, it was slow because I just opened in store, but I was still getting sales online, but it wasn't where I wanted it to be.
Gotcha.
So at that moment, I'm like, I can't raise a child and focus on this because that's my baby too. It's like I have two babies right now and I can't focus on both. So I had to sacrifice something, but I was still like, okay, I can't go to a job because I'm so used to being on my own.
Yeah.
So when I was told to do hair, even at that time, I'm like, you sure?
Yeah.
But I did it. I did
I
it.
remember being your tester.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What did he do? It was like
we did knotless braids, girl.
it was a knotless braids, like passion twist. It was
We did a
something.
lot.
So you was the tester.
She was
Yeah,
definitely my guinea pig.
I was a tester. I definitely was a tester.
Yeah.
Day one.
That's dope.
I had all my friends come to my house, let me practice on them. I watched YouTube videos. I really did what I had to do to make sure that I was able to provide for my daughter and provide a great lifestyle for us.
And did it take anything away from your happiness or your fulfilledness?
Ooh, that's a great question. You know, it didn't take away from my happiness. It brought a new type of happiness to me. I was able to explore something I didn't even know I had in me.
Wow.
I've always been great with my hands. I've always been creative, but I didn't know I had that gift.
Wow.
And I didn't know that I was going to be so much more passionate about doing hair than I was about fashion.
Yeah.
Never in a million years would I think that would be.
And you know, I like that you said that because on one of our previous episodes when we talked about when you create, it changes you. It turns you into you're a different person after, and you don't know who you're gonna be on the other side of that. That's when that faith comes into play. Like you have to really believe and trust that you listening and being obedient was gonna lead you to a whole different world, which it did. And I think it does that 100% of the time. If we be obedient and we see it through, we're ultimately gonna get there to that place.
That's crazy because I feel like in this season I'm dealing with change, especially with dealing with change as far as like going into like leaving my 9-to-5 and going into full entrepreneurship. Like I'm dealing with, I don't know what it's gonna look like. I haven't always been a risk taker. I've been
Playing it safe.
I played it safe. I've been a wannabe risk taker, taking fake risks, but now I'm like, okay.
That's practice.
Yeah.
That's just practice.
Because now I'm like, oh my
It's
God.
just testing you out.
I just want to jump, but it's like, okay, let me. But yeah, that was good.
Hey, and sometimes the fear of things, like we create this, you know, like they say just a little mental talk, like your ego is what attacks your conscious mind. So when we have these visions and God gives us these directions, our ego automatically comes in to try to save us. Like, don't do this because you don't want to fail. Don't do that.
You don't want to look bad.
Exactly,
to the people.
exactly. And you have most people, if you don't have that faith and belief in yourself built up, most people succumb to that. They come, that fear. I know I did for a long time when it comes to certain things in my life. Like before I mentioned that, I was like a basketball player all through. Like I grew up and was groomed for basketball. all the way up to the college level, and I couldn't take it to that next level because of my lack of confidence. I talked myself, my own fears talked me out of going to that next level. But that was something I had to recognize with myself.
Yeah.
But that ultimately, and what's good. We about to get a little spiritual today on y'all. I'm sorry, we can't help it. That's all we know. But what God does is we have these plans, right? And we're maneuvering with this plan that we created, because planning is the most divine expression of faith.
It is.
Like, when you make a plan, that means you really truly believe something is going to happen, because you're planning for it to happen, right? So we make these plans and we're moving along our path, and then a baby pops up. Mine was a baby too. I was actually in my senior year of high school. That's what kind of took me in a different direction from going to school. I felt like I had to stay home and stay with my son, so I didn't end up going to college that I would have a promising career at. But God comes in and he we'll move off track, and he'll just knock us over a notch real quick to get us back on track. Not knowing that our happiness is right on the other side of all that stuff we feared, these plans that we put in place, that we get too locked into. Like, we get locked into these plans, and we feel like if it don't go this way, it's not gonna go right. And God's like, hold up, I'm just knocking you over here real quick to really put you on the track where you need to be at.
That's crazy that you say that, because growing up, I was taught that an artist can't make any money. So for me, I wanted to be a film director. I wanted to be an actor, and even during high school, I signed up to do the Art Institute. It was it was an institute here in Jacksonville, where you could learn film, directing, and everything.
Wow. And
I was like, well, I won't make any money from that, so let me just go to school, let me just become a lawyer, and then I can just make money from that, and then I can just do photography on the side. But God is funny, okay? Because it's me trying to do photography full-time. Yeah. Well, I will do photography full-time, but it's just crazy how, sometimes we tend to go away from certain things, and change will bring us right back to it.
Yeah. And so what in your circle made you think that you wouldn't make any money from? Was it the people you were around?
I think it was the people that I was around, and I think it was a lack of representation. Because you never really meet anybody who's an actor making money unless you see them on TV. You never see anybody who's in film unless they may be doing the news station here locally, and they might not be making any money from it. Yeah. So
Yeah, and sometimes you are the first to do something,
exactly.
and you're setting that example for other people. And my quote is, rejection is God's way of saying wrong direction. So I feel like if there's any time that you feel like something is not going your way, then just figure out what direction that God wants you to go to, because it could be the same thing, but it's just he doesn't want you to take that route. Sometimes we take the scenic route to where we want to go, and God's just like, look, I got this laid out for you right here. So, yeah.
That's good.
Hey, so what would y'all think would be a person who is fearful of change? What would be some advice you would give them?
Someone who is fearful of change. I would first tell them to build up that self-confidence, because when you have confidence in yourself, others will have confidence in you, and others will back you. Yeah. And anytime that you feel like you don't, when that confidence of other people go away, or if you don't have any support at all, you will always have that self-motivation that's going to keep you going. Like you said, create a plan. When you write stuff down, you're actually putting it into motion, because you can put it in your face where you can see it every day. I heard you guys mention on your last episode affirmations. Affirmations helped me a lot. You have to constantly put that goal, constantly put that change in your face, because if you don't have it in your face and you just keep putting it off, procrastination, you're never going to actually make the change. So that's just good. Constantly put it in your face. Constantly work towards your goals, because consistency is key. And if you're not consistent in something that you're trying to do, then you most likely will fail.
Yeah, exactly.
So, self-sabotage. Self-sabotage.
That would be my
I would also say what I'm learning personally is foundation. You have to have a foundation, and for me that includes God, and then a support system, and then affirmations, and like building that confidence up in yourself. Because if you don't have those, especially like God in the center, when it gets shaky, when you don't know where you're going, you're gonna fall. So you have to know what to do to get back up.
Yeah.
Like that's important.
Yeah. And then the fact that you have to change is inevitable. It's
Yeah.
like you have to really just come to a place where you know it's going to happen. They have this saying where they say that you can trying to avert danger is just as effective as if you did nothing at all. That's because it's inevitable. It's going to happen. So you have to come to a point where you embrace the change. I've been a risk taker too. I can really relate to that because I've been the type person to like risk it all. Like I bet on myself. And I've never really needed an example of someone doing something for me to bet on it. I have this imagination that once I see it here, it's like I can achieve it. And that's that God quality that we all have. Once we imagine something, we can achieve it. But we have to keep in mind the fact that that's going to come with a lot of adjusting. And that's all I've ever known in life is having to make adjustments. It was a point in my life where I felt like the adjustments were going to be negative. This is when a toxic mind was kicking in. I always, you ever heard somebody say, things are going too good, something got to be going on wrong.
Yeah.
That's a really, really toxic mindset to have. But that was a mindset I had at one point. Like, it's going too good, not knowing that it's our birthright for everything to go right. We weren't created for things to be at fault.
Right.
We were created to succeed. But just embracing that change, I think, is something. Embracing knowing that it's gonna happen anyway. So don't put your guard up to reject the change, but embrace it and roll with it and maneuver around it. Being a problem solver, I think, is really key, especially in this world of creators, this world of entrepreneurship. I know I'm on different sets where, and that's something I pride myself in. I pride myself in like problem solving. Like I'm the type that like my friends bring their problems to me because they know like I'm gonna have a solution. I'm gonna be able to think through a solution. Being a problem solver, when it comes down to embracing change, you have to be able to adjust, to maneuver, and solve whatever problems that change may seem like. But I like how you touched on that rejection. What you say? Rejection
is God's way of saying wrong direction.
Yeah, wrong direction, man, or redirection.
Yeah.
But that's you being able to take what's given on your plate and being able to adjust and maneuver around it. I like that.
Yeah. So for me, I will say I did have to get out of a stage where I felt myself pulling back, that I wasn't so much of a risk taker. After I had my daughter and I saw how life was going for us, I'm just like, ooh, if I make one wrong move, I could lose it all. Because it's not just you. Yes. Yeah. So I had to find a balance of still taking those risks and also being mindful of my daughter and mindful of our household, just taking more calculated risk, I would say.
Gotcha.
So for those out there who are parents who have little ones at home, don't be afraid to take those risks. You can still do that, but just be mindful. Make a solid plan before you do that, because I used to be the one to just go out and do it without making a plan. I will say. So now I'm actually taking the time. I got my little office at home. I sit down and put stuff on my board, plan out how I'm going to do it before I actually make that move.
That's dope. That's really good. That's really good, because a lot of us, as we get up in age, like, it's not just us no more. Like, when we were younger and it was just us, we can like put it all on the line, but now we have to. And I noticed that about myself too. I got a lot safer when my kids got here. Like, I was a whole lot safer. Things that I would have normally bet it all on, I was like, hold on, maybe not. I wonder, can that also be a hindrance when it comes to us really following our purpose? Can we, and sometimes it ain't kids, sometimes we use religion, we hide behind it. Sometimes we use our comfortability, we hide behind it. So we create things that we hide behind at times to keep us from taking those risks, which isn't the right thing to do,
Yeah.
That's good.
I just want to take a moment to say how proud I am of my friend.
Right?
Oh my God.
Because listen, Greg, I'm so glad that you are here
Mm-hmm.
in the element that you with the photography, with the film, to help her, to show her different things, to motivate her.
Yeah.
I feel like you being here is keeping that in her face.
Mm.
Because I used to be you
Pushing
to her,
along.
pushing her, making
Yeah.
sure she, you need me to come with you to get photo shoots. So
Yeah.
I just want to say
I was
how
about to say, you so fancy now. You
I
like the original crew.
Wow.
helping her set up.
All the photos I would take of myself, she would take them. I would edit, but she would take them. So
Yeah, I just want to say how proud I am of you. Even though that you had your, don't cry. Even though you had your moments where you wanted to give up, you were scared to take risks, you're still doing it. How many years has been? What, maybe like 3 years?
like 4 years.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're still pushing forward and you're being consistent. Even though you may take a break here and there, you're still being consistent. You're still pushing towards your goal, and I'm so proud of you.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes. That is beautiful. Yes.
Yes.
And that's because she has that. You see so much from her. And when I look at people, I see the framework of them.
Yeah.
You know. So that's why even when she be telling me certain stuff, I'll be like, hold up now. Hold on. And now that we know each other more, I'll be a little more tougher on her. Because at first I was being nice. When I being
You
nice.
mean verbal butt whippers at my name?
Like, I'd
That's
be
what I call it,
nice.
verbal butt
Hey,
whippers.
but that's what you have to get yourself around. And I don't think coincidences. I don't think things are just coincidence. You know, like we have this path, we have this purpose. When we cross paths with people, it's for a reason. Like I can look back in my past and see different people that were in my life that may no longer be in my life, but they serve a purpose for that time period. And I think when you're founded, when you have that solid foundation, that unchangeable solid foundation, then you move in a way where you can, like, God puts you on, he opens your eyes to certain things. So he was probably telling me to get on you about that. He was probably telling me to get on you about that.
I remember every time I complained about something, Eminem would be like, if you would just do photography full time, you'll be alright. If you would just push your photography, you'll be alright.
I'm like, this is your moment. Go full speed ahead.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid.
So
to
for
take
those
risks.
people who are scared of change, you got one of these, just listen to them and just keep going. If you got two of these, just keep going.
Yes.
Just keep going.
Keep that circle tight. Keep that circle really tight. Get yourself around the right people. Sometimes we can be around all the wrong people.
I was
They
just about to
suffer
say
from
that.
identity crisis. They don't know who they are, so they can't even help you with who you are or what change you need to work through because they can't even work through it through themselves.
Yeah, they're telling you. Even like if a lot of stuff that I've been doing, that I've always done, it's always been that person in my ear, like, to tell me don't do that. You know, to hold off or to give me all the facts that will lead me in a different direction. And luckily, I never gave in to that stuff.
That's
you know.
good.
And but don't be that person that gives in to that. Like if you truly feel it in your heart, you just need one person to believe in you. Sometimes that person isn't a tangible person. Sometimes that person is above us, you know. But you just need one person to believe in you, and to pour into you, and then it's like, let's do it.
Yeah, and just believe in the power of prayer.
Yeah.
The power of prayer. You know, when those moments when you don't have those people around, just get down and pray.
Yeah.
Pray every day about what you want to happen, and when you pray, leave it there and just know and have that feeling in your gut. You know, train your subconscious mind to know that this is going to happen.
This is gonna happen.
I always say I let go of all attachments and set myself free. What is my other affirmation?
That's a really good one. That's such a good
girl,
one.
I need to copy that.
I choose to be patient. I choose to trust the process. Everything I have visualized, intended, and prayed about and worked on is in the process of manifesting. I will remain centered and at peace and believe that everything is going to happen for me. I said that every day. And everything that I prayed about and manifested is happening right now.
I'm the same way. Everything that I affirm to myself is going on. Because really, once you say it out your mouth, it's literally already done.
Yes.
Yep.
It's done at that point. Now we're just on a path to in the reality, in the real world. We ain't gonna get too spiritual on y'all today. We're gonna try to keep it. We're gonna try to keep, because we ain't praying to no oceans or nothing. We ain't gonna talk about that either. But like, yeah, once it's out of your mouth, like, it's already done. It's already done. I was given a word for my birthday this year, to trust the process, to trust the timing. And then my mom had to double back on me, like, the time is now. Nothing exists but the now. The past is already over with. The future isn't here yet. Nothing but the now exists. So when you say something, it's already done in the right now. So now you're just moving along the path, to get there. But
that's good. And just to kind of add to what you were saying about the prayer, I was telling Craig, I recently started a faith journal. So basically everything that I'm praying for in faith, I'm writing down. So when I'm frustrated in faith, when I'm happy in faith, whatever affirmations I have in faith, I'm writing down. So that's good.
That's dope.
Yeah.
That's dope. That really helps you learn yourself. It really helps you learn yourself, understand yourself. Writing is highly, and I don't know if it's any guys out there, listen, I will 100% promote journaling. Like, I journal every day. For one, not only is it therapeutic for me, but it allows me to put my thoughts and words on paper to make it even that much more real.
That's great to hear. Off topic, because you don't really hear guys, journaling, and then you hear guys say they can't really express themselves. Well, you can put it down on paper.
Put it down on paper.
Yeah.
Like, that's literally the best way for me to, like, minus. Sometimes we be wanting, like, I hear, like, I need somebody to talk to, confide, and I get that. Sometimes we really do be needing somebody to talk to. But let's start talking to ourselves first.
Yeah.
Like, let's put the conversation with ourselves. Journaling was one thing that took me out of depression a few years ago. Like, because I really couldn't understand, what all was going on with myself. And this was during COVID, so I had no choice but to, like, figure something out in the house, But journaling kind of helped me, like, and I still, to this day, I still make sure I practice that. But I'm also a writer by nature too, so I love to write. But writing my emotions was something new that I had to pick up and implement into my self-care. We going over here, but self-care is still very highly important to that journey of change, like knowing yourself. I think we were talking about earlier, just understanding yourself to a point where, think about it, if you're in a situation where a change is occurring, it may be traumatic, dramatic, or whatever. If you don't know yourself, how you're going to react, how you're going to respond, you're everywhere. It's chaos. If you already know if a situation pops up, you're going to overreact, and I know that about myself, maybe I can keep myself from overreacting so that I can think more about a solution, So learning yourself, understanding yourself, I think is part of that whole embracing change type thing going on.
Yeah, that's very true. So, key points on what we would say adapting to change.
Adapting.
Self-motivation, support system, foundation. What else? I can't even think.
Knowing it's gonna happen.
I don't know why charisma came to my mind, but I'm gonna just say it, charisma.
Yeah. And just building up that self-confidence.
Yeah.
I think confidence is number one.
Yeah,
Confidence is
it
number
is.
one.
Confidence.
And you have to pour into that. I think we touched on that in the last episode. Like, pour into your confidence. Like, ain't no weak mind about to win no game.
Yeah.
It's just not happening.
Yeah.
That's true.
Pour into your confidence. I literally feel like, and I pour into my confidence a whole lot, to a point where only my friends know how cocky I am. In real life, I'm a humble person, but my friends know how cocky I am because I'll talk a certain way around them. But that was something, like, being able to I literally feel like I can do anything. Like, my friend was telling me about skiing or something they want to do in Tennessee, and I'm like, yeah, I'm probably good at that. I never skied before. I never skied before, you know, but that's just how confident. Hey, but I'm glad y'all were able to check us out. Let them know one more time where they can kind of get in contact with you at.
Yes, you can follow me on Facebook and Instagram, Fashionably Ev. My website is fashionablyev.com. I also sell hair products, braid essentials. You can check me out on my website. I have braid gels, edge control, shampoos, all your hair care needs. You can check me out.
Hey, and one thing I want, listen, you see how she flowed that off like that? That was she rehearsed. This is us being great. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't just wake up great. You practice being great, you know?
And then it just changes.
And then it changes you. You have now been changed watching this episode of Conversation with Creators. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. Subscribe. Just so that when we drop these episodes, y'all can check in, you know,
Yes.
y'all can keep up with what's going on. Again, this is not just for photographers, videographers. This is for creators. That mean including you. You are a creator. You have that gift to imagine what you want to do, whether it be your career, whether it be entrepreneurship, and you have the ability to make that happen. So you are a creator, right?
Absolutely.
Creator.
All right.
We are creators.
Hey, make sure you lock in. We'll appreciate y'all checking us out. Till next time.
Bye, guys.